Hey guys, check out Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp, a fully updated second edition, reviewed and revised by an expert panel of certified Italian wine ambassadors from across the globe. The book also includes an edition by Professore Attilio Scienza, Italy's leading vine geneticist. To pick up a copy today, just head to Amazon.com or visit us at mamajumboshrimp.com. Welcome to another episode of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Each week, she travels to incredible wine destinations, interviewing some of the Italian wine scene's most interesting personalities, talking about wines, the foods, as well as the incredible travel destinations.
Hello, my name's Stevie Kim, and welcome to the On the Road edition of Italian Wine Podcast. You know what? Today, we're in a fabulous place in Sicily, Sicilia, and we're in Memphis. And today we'll be conversing with Alessio Planeta
Morning,
of winery that's called Planeta. Listen, Alessio, I have to be honest with you. I thought Planeta was a fake name, like just planet, but it's actually a family name.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
It came from Spain because my family arrived in Spain in the 17th century, in this area of Sicily, between Sambuca and Memphis. So here we are in the southwest of Sicily, 80 kilometers from Palermo, Agrigento and Trapani. It'll be in the center of this triangle, on the limit between the east part of Sicily, that is a bit more Greek, as you mentioned before, and this part of Sicily, a little bit more Phoenician, more Arabs, a little bit. So we are in the middle, and our name is Planeta di Santa Cecilia. That is a Spanish name. When we start, people say, Planeta, it's funny.
Yeah, nice name, Planeta Terra.
But I added my ID. Planeta.
Right. So it's actually a family name of Spanish origin. That's what you're saying. Okay, so tell me a little bit. Of course, Planeta is not just Memphis, although this is kind of the Casa Madre, right?
Yes.
But where are your other estates?
Well, we was born here because my family, as we said before, was based here, and the Planeta Adventures in Wine start here in the middle of 80s, and planting the first vineyards and doing the first winery in 94. In Sambuca, Sicilia, and Memphis. But immediately after, in 97, and because our roots of Sicilian, not only wine producer, but also people of agriculture, let us know very well all Sicily, we start to explore Sicily for producing some wine that was traditional Sicilian wine. So we went first in Vittoria in 97, where that is the place of Cerasuolo di Vittoria. In 98, we went to Noto. That is the southern point of all the island, is the place where Nero d'Avola was born. Is a place where the Moscato was produced since the Greek time. This time is true. In 2008, we went to Etna. And in 2011, we went to Capo Milazzo, where we produce our Mamertino. So today, Planeta is in 5 different places, having vineyards and winery and people there. So Planeta is like a collection of vineyards and wineries in the iconic or classical place of Sicily.
All right, so let's taste one of the wines so we can have a taste. It's nearly 2 o'clock and
okay.
We need a little bit of alcohol.
We have thanks to our name, we have a Spanish time of eating,
right.
2:30.
Yeah, everything starts later, right? So
here we have our Terebinto. Terebinto is organic. All Planeta is in organic.
Since when?
Since last year, after a long-term job, we have this sustained certification since 12 years. And then since 2 years, we are all in organic. So we have both now. And this is something we are very proud about. Terebinto, the appellation here is Memphis, Sicilia. And the grape here is 100% Grillo. And Grillo was not in the Planeta vineyard since the beginning. We arrived at Grillo a bit later. But now I'm very happy and very, confident about these grapes. Grillo has a wonderful story because it's a cross between 2 different varieties. One is Catarratto and the other one is Zibibbo, done by a scientist from Agrigento that tried to combine the flavors of the Zibibbo, that is a super aromatic grape, with the acidity and the tension of the Catarratto, and was done like old way of making cross, so with the pollen of the flowers, and was done in Favara, that is a village not far from Agrigento, 90 kilometers from here, and from that area they start to plant in many other places in Sicily. I think Grillo is one of the most interesting white grape in Italy because it's a personality, have a good production, perfect, represents Sicily, the west part of Sicily very, very well.
So I want to ask you a personal question. So, from the northern part of Italy, a lot of the producers are investing in other areas of Italy, right? So, with the specific focus, of course, Etna is very sexy, and other areas of Sicily or in Puglia, etc. What you have done is to grow, but Sicily specific.
Yeah, there was two reasons. The first reason was that we were thinking at that time, still today, that there was still a lot of Sicily to explore. So we went in some place that were like a Mamertino area that were not enough well known comparing to the potential of the place, comparing to the story of the place, comparing to the tradition of the place. Why you have to go to say something
In Tuscany.
what Planeta can say
Piedmont.
new in Tuscany and Piemonte. And the second reason was that I spent all my life talking about Sicily. Do you want to listen me talking about Tuscany? I don't think so. What we have done was another thing. So we tried to have people to invest in Sicily because we want to have more people. I was the one that convinced easily Filippo Mazzei to buy a farm in Sicily in 99. So a lot of time ago, I say, Filippo, we are very good friends. Zisola. Yes.
Zisola.
And they've done a great job there. And the last things we have done was 3 years ago. We have done together with a French family a winery, a project together here in Sambuca, Sicilia. So we convinced French people that make wines everywhere in the world to invest in Sicily. And considering the story about this land, that we are very happy about.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's, in a way, your passion, your love for this territory is very cogent from the beginning to end. I love that, actually. I've tasted the second wine.
You want to take the second one? Yes. So this is a special wine for us because the name of this wine is Didacus. Is a wine dedicated to our uncle Diego. My uncle Diego was that since 3 years is not more with us. Was one of the pioneer of Sicilian wine. I would say also Italian wine, because I think there is a generation of people born around the 40s that in Sicily, in Tuscany, in Piemonte, really make the difference between the past and the present of Italian wine. Diego was a very special person with a lot of energy, spoke 4 languages fluently. In the Sicily of the 60s and 70s, that was not exactly to go back to other Sicilians speak so many languages, you have to go back to the medieval time. And so Diego was president of a very important cooperative in Sicily. He was president of an institute of research and promotion in Sicily called Istituto Regionale Vite e Vino. And with Diego, people like Attilio Scienza, that you know very well, like Giacomo Takis, like Giampaolo Fabris, they arrived in Sicily to help Sicilian to a little bit change the story about Sicilian wine. And so we decided to dedicate to Diego 2 wines, 2 very special wines that are done in a very small quantity. So, for example, this vintage is done in 5,000 bottles. Every bottle has its own numbers. And here you have a pure Cabernet Franc coming from a beautiful vineyards on the top of the hill, 400 meters, surrounded by a forest in a very pure and clean place.
What is the name of this area?
The name of this area is Monte Cirami, but the vineyards of Cabernet Franc is in Maroccoli. It's a hill called Maroccoli in the area of the Monti Sicani. That are these mountains that are not far from the sea, very calcareous and going on for many, many kilometers with a city that people don't expect because they are forests, we are close to the sea, and they are untouched and beautiful.
So, when you think about it, you say that, everything started in 94, right? That when you hear Planeta's name, you think it's way, way older. There's longer history. And this is perhaps because of Diego, right?
Yes, also because honestly, we have done a lot of projects in the last years. We have done from quantity, quality. So we've done so many projects. But Planeta, they done the first harvest in 94, but we started the project in 85, planting these vineyards here around, doing more than 7-8 years of microvinification, experimentation, trial before going in the market with our name on the label, where we put all our, faith and honor on the label. So Planeta is 30 something.
Right. So paradoxically, you're really famous for the Chardonnay, right?
Why paradoxically?
Because you don't think of Sicily and you say like Chardonnay. That's not what you think, right?
Was my Chardonnay Planeta was born for a combination of two people. One was me, and another one was Carlo Corino. When we start Planeta, this was another
Who's Carlo Cordino?
say your story. Diego was a very smart person. Sette Soli had a winemaker from Alba that was in Sicily from the 60s until 88. After 25 years of living in Sicily, far from truffle, far from bagna cauda, I said, I don't want to go back to my house. And Diego, I don't know how, he heard the story about another winemaker that was born in Alba, but he lives in Maggi, close to Sydney. So on the other side of the world, he was a winemaker that was born in Alba. The father was the president della scuola of Alba. So his student was Ceretto, Gaia, all this generation. He was on the same school of Angelo, same school of Bruno Ceretto. And so he was the best student in the school, being the son of this person. And then his career was first going in Ethiopia, where Italians makes wine in the end of 60s. And then he moved to Australia. And he was in Australia from the 72, 73 to 89. So in the moment where Australia was the lab of the develop of making great wine in warm area. And so Diego, when he lose the winemaker here, he take a flight, he go to Sydney, he make him an offer he can't refuse, and he fly back to Sicily with a wife, dogs,
Oh my
cats,
goodness.
all the stuff in Sicily. And Corino was special. Myself, I'm not special at all, but when I finished my study, I went to work in Burgundy to do the worker. Yes, the worker, not the winemaker, of course. I was young. I was in the winery, but not no, as a worker. And then when I come back to start Planeta with Carlo. He had the experience of making Chardonnay barrel fermented in Australia. I had, of course, the dream of being back from Burgundy to do the same. And together we start Chardonnay Planeta. And then Chardonnay Planeta became an iconic wine, works very well. It's a very precise style and and so it's still our flag. It's still a wine that we make in our best vineyards here, between 200 and 450 meters, 100% barrel fermented with hundreds of barriques that we ferment. It works well. Yes.
So listen, I want to ask you a cheeky question. So how can you tell on a blind tasting? You have, let's say, like 10 Chardonnays, right? Some from Burgundy, some from the New World, and other parts of Italy. How can you tell in blind tasting that your Chardonnay is Planeta?
No, it's completely different. But first of all, this is something we have to, as Italians, we have to work more on this because people recognize in their mind Merceau from Gévy-Chambertin, but they don't recognize Sicily from Piemonte when you talk about some grapes in common. But when you are a winemaker or a wine tester, we can recognize the different vineyards of Chardonnay of Planeta on a distance
From the different parcels.
of different parcels. So the problem is to transfer this to the customers. But at the end of the day, there is a specific style of Sicilian Chardonnay that I can feel, and wine lovers can feel that our Chardonnay is try to describe it. Will be less warm than some idea of New World Chardonnay, but of course it'll be
So
more,
less tropical
less
for the
trop-
geekies,
less
for the wine
tropical,
geeks.
and less, of course, acid and sharp than Chardonnay from Burgundy, of course. Less minerality. Something in the middle with a lot of I don't know, apricot fruit, saffron, something sunny but not too much. It's different.
Yeah, but you can tell the difference. Okay. So we've touched a little bit about, the family. Diego was kind of the figure that was the influencer of the family, right? To have this trail going. But there are other members of because Planeta really started with you and your cousin Francesca and Santi and etc. So can you tell us a little bit about the family organization and who does what exactly? Because it's still a family business, right?
Yeah, we are a typical, or maybe not more typical now, family company in terms that different members of the family are active, involved in the day by day work. Starting from there was first one generation, then the next generation arrived, and now the new generation is coming. When Diego started, he was helped by the brother and sisters. my father, that was the older one, and my aunts. My aunts were crucial in the starting of Planeta. You can ask to the people at the beginning the experience of coming here, testing our wines, and having our aunts cooking the typical Sicilian recipe that are something special. On the other side, when Planeta started, my generation arrived. So my cousin Francesca, the daughter of Diego, me. Then immediately after, my cousin Marcello, my brother Santi. So I'm in charge of winemaking and all the technical area,
So the production side.
production size, and of course also a little bit of marketing.
Yeah.
Some of the sales.
Some of the Excel sheets you have
And
to
then
do.
later I also clean these glasses.
Yeah.
I do everything. And on the other side, Francesca start doing marketing and sales with me. In the last years, she's focused on something that today is very important for Planeta, and that is hospitality, tourism. So now we have a lot of people here that visit us. We have a hotel called La Foresteria that is one of the best locations in Sicily. Palermo and many other projects. My brother Santi is the commercial director. My cousin Marcello is the person that make things works. Like we do, we have done like every year we do a new wineries. So every year we do a new project that something to manage. Another cousin Chiara that is in charge of that. Yeah. You see her. Yeah, she is try to organize everything here. And the next generation is coming, both since.
I met your son.
Yeah, you met my
Costante.
son, Costante, that he start doing the more difficult things in the wine business.
I gave him his hashtag, Baby Planeta.
Baby Planeta. It's not exactly baby. Yes.
Yeah, but I called. There's always like Baby Frascobaldi, Baby, Planeta. Yeah.
We was thinking that the best way to transform a baby in a boy is to let him sell wine. That is the more difficult,
right?
Especially in the south of Italy. And so he's doing this, also following many other things, and like in any family company. But we are in harmony. We love to work all together. When we do holidays like Easter or Christmas, we are a lot of us. Of course, some people are not more with us, but this is life. Yeah. So this is what we do.
Listen, Alessio, so White Lotus. Okay, tell us about how the hell did that happen? Because I saw it in the plane actually, because I didn't see at White Lotus. I don't have very much time. But on the plane, the only time I get to watch anything is on the plane.
Are you enjoying this podcast? There's so much more high-quality wine content available from Mama Jumbo Shrimp. Check out our new wine study maps, our books on Italian wine, including Italian Wine Unplugged, The Jumbo Shrimp Guide to Italian Wine, Sangiovese Lambrusco and Other Stories, and much, much more on our website, mamajumboshrimp.com. Now back to the show.
And there was White Lotus, season 2. I didn't even see season 1, but it was on the plane, so I started watching it. And few episodes in, all of a sudden, I see your wine and your winery. Yeah. Tell us how that happened.
Happens that this was really thanks to the relationship of my brother Vito, and he was able to become friend of anyone. So there was these people that decided to make White Lotus. White Lotus is done always in a stop hotel. They decided to do in Taormina. Right. They selected San Domenico, that was a classic, beautiful hotel. And then they start to looking for some location. And the way we make our winery, our house, our place, we are like a movie set. I don't know if you've seen our place here around. So this is why my brother that was in charge of event, he was in touch with some people. So there was like a network of people that. And when they do the site inspection for something outside in the winery, they go to visit 5-6 wineries in Etna. But it was winter, and the day they arrived, we had a party there with all the association of the best Michelin star restaurant of Sicily. So all of us, we were drunk, happy, having great food.
And they're like, perfect! This is perfect!
And so we invite them we transform the site inspection in a little bit party, exchanging of experience. So they immediately liked the place.
Right,
And
they
this
loved
was
it.
the first part of the miracle. The second part of the miracle was then we say, okay, because they didn't say us that was White Lotus. There was then
Just bunch of people from Hollywood.
from a satisfaction from we understand there was an important one because the satisfaction was done by 30 people.
Right.
Like FBI, CAA, like
There was something going on here today.
yeah. Now this was a bit more simple. So a few days after they arrived, okay, we want to do in your place. This is our TV series. And so first of all, we check the first series and we say that was not exactly sometimes very relaxed.
Right.
So we said, okay, we are happy. But my brother said, okay, we want to see what you do in our winery because, for example, if you kill someone in our winery, we know the best advice.
Yeah, it's not, and also like you're very superstitious.
Exactly. So they say, of course, we can do together. And so when we exchange the information, we say, okay, well, why don't you use our wine and this? Okay, why not? Why don't you do this? Okay, why not? So at the end of the day, they do something in our wineries with the bottles, and we're talking about my favorite one is Eruzione.
Right. So listen, did that, change commercially?
Wow.
It really
Yes,
did.
of course.
Oh, really?
A lot of people come and visit us in that place.
Well, because now it's like the movie set, White Lotus,
and they want to do the testing in the same
the
table,
same thing.
same plate and the same picture.
Yeah.
And second, there was a lot of people from the States. White Lotus was super strong. Where I think, wow, White Lotus Planeta is there. I want to order Planeta. And so we have a double sales of
Immediately.
Immediately.
Wow.
And a lot of people, people that know us before was, wow, they weren't there. Yeah. They are there. Oh, it was beautiful. And I was shocked by how professional they are. The sets was done by 200 people around you. There was.
It's a serious, budget.
It's really a big production, and Taormina is sold out forever. Forget immediately after it was in October, November. Do you remember? Christmas was sold out. Many people phone asked me, "Can you book for me San Domingo?" I say, "No, I can't because it's sold out." And so it was crazy, really crazy.
All right. Before my last question, do you want to say anything? Is there anything you would like to say?
No, we talk about our effort to become organic because many people talk about this. Is the moment to bring people to see what we do. Today, even if the day was not a typical sunny Sicilian day.
Yeah, it was actually very Scottish.
Very Scottish. But was good also to change perception that people have that Sicily is like dry and whatever. Sicily is green and full of different trees or whatever. It's time to bring people back to see how you make agriculture, how you manage vineyards, but not only vineyards, to make the difference between only a certification and a style of life, a style of doing agriculture, a style of having people working with you to manage the place. So this is something that for Planeta is very important, and for my family is very important because we have this vision to work today for what will be for the next generation and maybe the other generation. We try to not only preserve but also to increase what we funded, and this was something very important.
Yeah, so this is it was similar to what I wanted to ask you in terms about your long-term goals and vision, right? But one of the problems that we do have is the next generation, right? Because the next generation, the people who are appreciating good high quality wines are the baby boomers, right? The next generation, they don't enjoy wine as much as, or appreciate wine.
Who said?
You just see it. I see it in my staff. I see everywhere. And there are studies that they confirm that. What can we do to
I think that wine must be not connected only to what is inside of the glass. That could be similar to what you have in a beer or maybe in a in a cocktail or whatever, but what is around the glass. So we have to have more and more people that see what we do here, enjoy the wine in the place of production, and go back with this. And I'm confident that the new generation will be also, like we have done, ambassadors of a style of life that is wine, more than a glass of something that is a pleasure, but is more a style of life. We have to work on this a little bit. Of course, if people stay, and also we have to communicate in a different ways, because there are many other way of being in touch with the new generation. That must be the first step to bring them to enjoy this kind of
So
Italian
bring
style of
them
life.
back to the territory.
Yeah.
So this is it's one of the other reasons why you're focusing on the hospitality,
Yes, exactly.
right?
And also we will be open in the next month. Planeta Wine Bar in the Sicilian airport of Palermo. So
Oh, in Palermo.
yes, the best, the first door to heaven.
No, so where it's going to be called what, like Planeta Wine Bar?
Yes,
Okay.
Planeta Wine Bar. Yeah.
That's simple.
And in Sicily you have three airports. So Palermo is one of the two. So you go in Sicily with this. So this is just to say that very important to communicate. There is a lot of tourism in Sicily, increasing a lot, and this is another very important way to have people on board on the passion of Sicilian wine.
So just one last question about hospitality.
This is the third last question.
I know. I say that all the time, right? So the hospitality, I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but in the La Foresteria, you have 14 beautiful rooms. It's absolutely gorgeous. But how the hell do people get there? Because it's middle of nowhere. Like, how do they, and you said it's full all the time. So, like, how do people find out? Like, what is the secret sauce that you have people coming to this very remote area from all parts of the world?
I was thinking that this was the center of the world. You see this remote area? Are you sure it's a remote area?
Menfi, yeah, I've never been. This is my first time. I mean, I know.
To be serious?
Yeah.
To be serious, this was at the beginning, but we have done a lot of education, and then people go in love with this place because this area have the best ingredients for foodies, because you have in an area where you have wine, olive oil, I don't know, production of cheese, of bread, a very old style of life, a very strong agriculture, connected to many other people. And then in the people that like to travel, there are some. How many people want to find a special experience to Sicily, that is not to go in a classic place, but to go to discover a place like La Foresteria. So a couple of days ago, there was an article of the Independent where there was the best location in Sicily. The other one was Villa Egea, historical Roccaforte place, Verdura, Adler, another big investment, Timeo, and La Foresteria was the best location for foodies.
Oh, really?
And then in Memphis,
you didn't offer me any food at La Foresteria.
Yeah, I know.
I came all the way to Menfi and no food from Foresteria.
Will be back
for the food.
For the food and for our also beach club, and my son also.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, that's a wrap from Menfi Winery, Planeta Winery. And what can I say? We'll just have to come back when the sun's out as well. And some for food. I have to come for some free food. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Grazie.
Thank you for joining us on another installment of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Join her again next week for more interesting content in the Italian wine scene. You can also find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. You can also check out our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, to watch these interviews and the footage captured of each location. Chin chin!